All right, so I want to play this video of Thomas Sewell absolutely destroying this mainstream media journalist hack in Australia. And for those of you who are not familiar with who Thomas Sewell is, basically he's part of the Australian nationalist movement, which is all about protecting, fundamentally what it means to be Australian, and not being completely and utterly demographically colonized. So anyways, let's take a look at this video and you guys can see what I'm talking about.
The taxpayer has to constantly fund Victoria Police taking me to the courts for just more nonsense, offensive behaviour charges.
Is it nonsense though? Because the taxpayer wasn't happy with what they saw at that rally.
Well, you don't speak for the taxpayer. You're part of a corporate entity that is anti-Australia. So you don't actually speak for the Australian people. You're a nefarious agent of the mainstream media. So I think you'll find the average Australian does not want thousands or millions of illegal Indian immigrants staying in the country. And that's what we were protesting against. There were thousands of self-entitled, despicable people that think it's their right to be a part of our nation. And they were protesting outside Tony Burke's office, who, might I add, deported healthy, wholesome white families from this country. Shut up, you fat dork. Film this fucking loser. Look at these freaks. You're a fat, disgusting.
I'm sorry, that's just great. I mean, he really, folks, fundamentally, you have to be willing to offend people. You really do. You have to be willing to offend people. That's great. That's just perfect.
Dork. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Tony Burke,
no,
every
listen.
Time you're out here, there's drama.
There is always drama, but it's not seeking attention to me, it's seeking attention to the issue. And the primary issue in Australia and the whole Western world is white replacement. That is the primary issue. That's the only thing we actually want to talk about. And you're looking at your phone, you're looking at how to change the subject, because the media do not want to talk about this subject. They don't want to talk about white replacement. We want to reverse the process. We don't want Australia turning into a third world country. We don't want it turning into India. We don't want it turning into Sudan. We want it to remain Australian. That is the primary issue. And you always want to change the subject and attack the man. You don't want to play the fucking important game. You want to attack the man. You don't want to attack the idea. You don't want to touch on white replacement. You want to touch on my personal behaviour.
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty?
Thank you, done.
Oh yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. You're scum. They don't want to talk about the big issues. What they want to talk about is, are you guilty or are you not guilty for this minutia that doesn't matter? We protested foreign immigrants that are demanding that they stay in the country. And we protested that. We said you shut the fuck up. We said that was self-entitled, that it was disrespectful, that it was anti-Australian. And we said an ancient Australian problem.
Yeah, I mean, that is the sentiment, guys, that we need to have. We cannot be scared any longer of offending people. And what's happening in Australia is not unique to Australia. This is the same thing that's happening in Canada. It's the same thing that's happening in Europe. It's happening all over the Western world, where people are coming to our countries and number one, they don't think like we do. They don't have the same belief system or morality that we do. Number two, they hardly even speak the same language. We're literally seeing in some areas, in some different cities where there's a higher concentration of these individuals, they are changing the street signs and the legal documentation and all the public signage into their other language because so many of them don't speak English. I'm not kidding. That's how crazy it is. And third, they do not care about our system of governance. They will come here. And we've seen this. Listen, we've seen this already happen in Minnesota. We saw the Somali community now come into Minnesota, and they will take advantage of our system. They will find a loophole. They will find some fraudulent mechanism that they can abuse. They will find something that they can cling on to in order to drain the life from our system. And fundamentally, that is who we are importing into our Western world. This is no longer the immigration of the 80s. Okay, there's a lot of retarded boomers out there that seem to think that we're still stuck in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and we're importing the best of the best. We are not importing the best of the best. We are importing retards and people that can't think. That's who we're importing, and they are replacing our white Western populations. And I'm sorry. If that's offensive to people. I don't care. But the reality of the situation is, I am proud of where I came from. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my European ancestry. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn if that's offensive to somebody. I don't give a damn if someone wants to label me the R word. I don't care. I genuinely do not care any longer. And that is the mentality that more people need to take if we're going to free ourselves from the shackles of this third world burden that is mass migration. Anyways, I want to move on to one more topic here before I end the video. And this is from the CCFR, which is basically, the CCFR is the, this will be for all the American viewers, the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights. It's basically our version of the NRA. It's really quintessentially the only organization in Canada that is fighting for Canadian firearms owners. Anyways, so the Wall Street Journal says OpenAI employees raised alarms about the Tumbler Ridge mass shooter months ago, but the ChatGPT maker opted against informing Canadian law enforcement about the threat. In other words, it was totally preventable. And we have seen this now time and time again with a number of these other, I hate to say it, but it is true. Again, it is true. Mostly transgender shooters that have been part of these mass shootings in the last couple of years. There was ample evidence, either in some sort of social media activity that they were engaging in online, their friends, their family. There was always some sort of real, meaningful, tangible evidence that they were going to do something crazy. And guess what? They end up doing something crazy and nobody does anything about it. So here's just another example, of course, with the Tumbler Ridge shooting that happened recently in BC. And the other thing is, it gets even worse. The RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force here in Canada, it's basically our federal police force. They had come in and they had actually previously removed the firearms from this home that this transgender shooter gained access to, and they were returned by court order to the family in the time preceding the tragic event. So totally preventable. Our justice system completely dropped the ball on that, but I'm not surprised. I mean, this is emblematic of the times we live in. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. I will see you in the next one.